All the actors you'll be hearing tonight are volunteering their time and their talent from their homes to bring a little bit of entertainment to your homes. Many of them first met each other just 15 minutes ago when they logged into this Zoom meeting from 4 different continents, and we want to thank them all so much for joining us. A big special thanks to our friend, Your Friendly Neighborhood Shakespeare, for hosting this on his pages. You can check out his website, shakespeareapproves.com, and become a Patreon of the arts at patreon.com/Shakespeare. You can find out more about him at that aforementioned website or by visiting his Facebook, Shakespeare Approves, Your Friendly Neighborhood Shakespeare. We'll have links to visit him as well as how you can donate to the Liberty Housing Development Corporation in the comments of this video. As always, we want to acknowledge and thank all of the medical professionals and essential workers who have been working tirelessly to keep us all as healthy and safe as possible, and really letting us do this for the last 39 weeks. Also want to acknowledge those who've been demonstrating and protesting. Quite simply, Black Lives Matter. If you're interested in more information about our totally volunteer organization, check out our website, zenithplayers.com. Feel very free to check out our very attractive donations page. 100% of all donations go towards production costs, which these days consist of the various subscriptions that allow for these readings to happen. If you would like to read with us in future projects, just send us an email at casting@zenithplayers.com and we will get you on board. This is our final reading of 2020, so we want to thank you so much for joining us for the past 39 weeks. We will see you Saturday, January 2nd for Henry VI, Part 2. For now, though, relax and enjoy Dan Kostelik as Dickens, Miguel Vega as Bob Cratchit, Andrea Atwood as a boy, Shakira Searle as Fred, Jonathan Clyde Moore as a gentleman, Tom Zadoyko as Marley, Carolyn Clifford as the ghost of Christmas past, Emily Brennan as Fezziwig, Caitlin Jurwitz as Belle, Andrew Gellos as young Scrooge, Elena Marie Abdu as Belle's husband, Russell Slater as the ghost of Christmas present, Johanna Erickson as Johanna, Andrea DeRiso as Martha, Claire Bohanec as Mrs. Cratchit, featuring Mimi from Straggle Rock and her puppet master, Sarah Bertolozzi, with music by the Foxy Bard and Twig, known as Drunk and Disorderly, with Adam Bateman as Tiny Tim and Steve Anderson as Ebenezer Scrooge.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful glory, nations rise, join the triumph on the skies. With angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. The register of the burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead? Of course he did. Scrooge and Marley were partners for I don't know how many years. But he was a tight-fisted hand of the grindstone, Scrooge. Squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. And once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house, a grim, cheerless place if ever there was one. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, Bob Cratchit, who in a cold and dismal little cell beyond worked at his ledgers.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ the Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power. We were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, oh, tidings of comfort and joy. God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save
Bob Cratchit! Yes, Mr. Scrooge.
Stop that infernal caterwauling. Comfort and joy.
Yes, sir.
Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
15, 17.
Idiotic Christmas carols at my very door. Go on! Get away from my door! Oh. Go somewhere else and bellow your blasted carols, or I'll give you a...
Aye, Governor. It's an old custom at Christmas time, you know.
Yes, and I don't want any of your old customs. Take your fellow fools and go away. Christmas. Ugh.
Right, sir. Merry Christmas anyway, sir.
Blech. Now, you get that letter from Higgins and Blackthorn, Cratchit, and then I want you to finish posting this ledger, and after that you can pop over to Parthergill's. And tell Ephraim Parthergill you've come after the 17 shillings and sixpence he's owed me since Michaelmas. And tell him I shall have a constable over there if he doesn't pay up at once.
Mr. Parthergill's wife has been ill, sir.
Oh, what do I care about his wife? I want my 17 and 6.
I just thought, it being Christmas, sir.
Christmas. You mention that word to me once more, Bob Cratchit, and I'll...
Christmas, Uncle. A Merry Christmas, Bob.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Fred.
God save you, Uncle.
Humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle. Now, I'm sure you don't mean that.
I mean just that. Exactly that. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you? You're poor enough.
Well, what right have you to be dismal about Christmas, Uncle? You're rich enough. Now, Uncle, don't be cross.
Well, what else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money? Merry Christmas, a time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stick of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle!
Now, if you keep Christmas in your own way, let me keep it in mine.
Keep it? But you don't keep it, Uncle.
Well, let me leave it alone, then. What do you want? A Christmas gift, I've no doubt.
I've come to wish you a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Merry Christmas. Much good may Christmas do you. Much good it has ever done you.
There are many things from which I derive good, by which I have not profited materially, I dare say, Uncle. Christmas among the rest. But I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
God bless Christmas. Hurrah!
Let me hear another sound out of you there, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. As to you, nephew, I wonder you don't run for Parliament. You talk enough nonsense.
Oh, don't be angry, Uncle. I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I tried. A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year, too.
Humbug.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Bob. And to the missus. And to Tiny Tim.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Fred. Same to you, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day, Bob.
Nonsense. Twaddle flummery. Talking of Christmas, and not 2 sixpences to jingle together in his trouser pocket. Hey, you there, Bob Cratchit, come here. What are you doing there?
I was only putting a bit more coal in the fire, Mr. Scrooge. Seeing it's so cold in there, sir.
You put that coal back in the scuttle. A
fire indeed. I can tell you, if you use coal at that rate, you and I will soon be parting company, Bob Cratchit. You understand that? There's many a young fellow would like your situation, you know.
I'm sorry, sir. My fingers were getting a little stiff.
Then put on your mittens. Now, there's someone at the door. Go on, see who it is.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is the firm of Scrooge and Marley.
Yes, sir.
I should like to see the head of the firm, if I may.
Oh, very good, sir.
Well, what is it?
A gentleman to see you, Mr. Scrooge.
Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. 7 years tonight. I'm Scrooge.
Well, now, Mr. Scrooge, at this season of the year, it's only fitting that we, who are more fortunate, should raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. You may not believe it, sir, but many thousands are now in want of common necessities. And hundreds of thousands are in want of the simplest of comforts.
Are there no prisons?
Well, there are plenty of prisons, sir.
And the workhouses, they're still in operation, I trust.
I wish I could say they are not, but they are, sir.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor, then?
Both very busy, sir.
I'm glad to hear that. I was afraid from what you said at first, something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
No, sir, all these institutions that you mention are flourishing, but it's nevertheless true that some additional provision for the poor and the destitute must be made. A few of us, upon change, are endeavoring to raise such a fund, you see, and what shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, I see. You wish to be anonymous, sir.
I wish to be left alone. I don't make merry myself at Christmas time. I can't afford to help make a lot of idle people merry. I help to support the establishments that take care of the poor. They cost enough. Let those who are badly off go there.
Many can't go there, sir, and many would rather die.
Then my advice to them is to do so and decrease the surplus population. Besides, I have only your word for it that all this is so.
Well, it's the truth, Mr. Scrooge.
Well, so be it then. It's not my business. It's enough for a man to take care of his own business and not interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, sir.
I quite understand, Mr. Scrooge. Good afternoon.
Cratchit, show this gentleman out.
Yes, sir. This way, sir, please. Sir, I couldn't help overhearing. I should like to contribute tuppence.
Cratchit?
Yes, sir. It isn't much, but it's all I can afford. But there are others in worse situation than I.
You're a generous fellow. I wish I might say so of your employer.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Cratchit!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, sir.
Close the door.
Yes, sir. Four, 31, 1 carry 3, a new scarlet tippet for Tiny Tim, comb for Martha, 33, 3 and carry 3, hair ribbon for Belinda, 4, 7, 12, 15.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's too late to have you go to Parthagil's. It'll be closed up for Christmas, like these other fools. We may as well close the place up now.
Yes, sir. It is getting a little dark. Hard to see the figures.
I suppose you want the entire day tomorrow?
It's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient. It's not fair either. I suppose I can't do anything about it. If I was to stop half a crown of your wages, you'd think yourself very ill-used, I'll be bound.
Oh, sir,
But you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
it's only once a year, sir.
Once a year. Once a year, indeed. A fine excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose there's no good talking. You must have the whole day. Well, see that you're here all the earlier the next morning. You understand?
Oh, I will, sir. Will indeed. Good night, sir. And Merry Christmas.
Bah.
Merry Christmas.
Bah!
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la.
The office was closed in a twinkling, and Bob Cratch, the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waistful, he boasted no greatcoat, went down a slide on Cornhill 20 times in honour of its being Christmas Eve, and then ran home to Camden Town as hard as he could pelt to play with his family at blind man's buff. Scrooge, on the other hand, took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, having read all the newspapers and spent the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went to his dismal house. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. The yard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, had to grope with his hands through the fog and the frost to find the door. Scrooge walked through his rooms to see that all was right. Sitting room, bedroom, lumber room, all as they should be. Nobody on the table, nobody under the sofa, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet. Closed the door. He locked himself in. He double-locked himself in. He took off his cravat, put on his dressing gown and his slippers and his nightcap, and sat down before the fire to take his gruel.
Marley, I could have sworn I saw. Humbug. Marley's been dead these 7 years. Humbug, all humbug. What I need is a good night's. What was that? Someone's in the wine cellar. But the door's locked. Double locked. Something is coming. Something is coming closer. Outside my door. I won't believe it. It's humbug still.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh, no, what do you want of me?
I want much of you, Ebenezer.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Oh, you're very particular for a ghost. All right then, who were you?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley? But you're dead. You died 7 years ago.
7 years ago this very night. What's wrong, Ebenezer? Don't you believe me?
I do not.
You doubt your senses, Ebenezer?
Yes. Yes, because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You can't be a ghost. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There may be more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. Humbug, I tell you. Humbug.
Ah!
I do believe in you. You are a ghost, Jacob.
Thank you.
Why? Why do you walk the earth, Jacob? Why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad amongst his fellow men, and travel far and wide to witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth, and turned to happiness.
But tell me, Jacob, what is that chain you wear around you?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard by my own free will. Is its pattern strange to you, Ebenezer?
Cash boxes, keys and padlocks, ledgers and purses.
Yours was as heavy and as long as this 7 years ago. You have labored on it since, Ebenezer.
Oh, Jacob, speak comfort to me, Jacob.
Comfort I have none to give. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger. Weary journeys lie before me.
You travel fast.
Yes, Ebenezer, on the wings of the wind.
7 years dead, and traveling all the time.
7 years, Ebenezer. 7 years of remorse. Ebenezer, do you know that no space of regret can make amends for one's life's opportunities misused?
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. Charity, mercy, benevolence, they were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
Jacob, don't take on so now. Jacob.
Listen to me, Ebenezer.
I'll listen to you, Jacob. Go on, Jacob. Now, speak to me, but don't be so flowery.
Ebenezer, I am here to warn you that you have yet a chance of hope of escaping my fate. Do you hear that, Ebenezer?
Yes, Jacob. Yes, you're always such a good friend to me, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob. Go on. How shall I escape? I'm afraid, Jacob.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the only chance and hope, Jacob?
It is your only chance and hope.
Well then, I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with, Jacob?
Ebenezer, look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us. Remember, when the bell tolls 1, look for the first spirit.
Jacob, Marley!
Christmas is here.
Scrooge awoke. He was lying on his bed, fully dressed. Suddenly, the curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them. As close to it as I am to you now, and I'm standing in the spirit at your elbow. It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an ancient spectre. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. The arms were long and muscular, the hands the same, as if its hold were of uncommon strength.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Who's that?
Ebenezer Scrooge, I have come for you.
You... are you the spirit whose coming was foretold me?
I am that spirit.
What are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
But what do you want of me? What brings you here to haunt me?
Your welfare, Ebenezer Scrooge. Rise and walk with me.
No! Not out the window. I can't do that. I'll fall. I'm not a spirit. I'm mortal. I will fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Come, follow me.
Where are we? What's become of the city? There's snow. There's snow upon the ground. Where are we?
These are the shadows of things that have been. You recognize this countryside?
I know every inch of it. Every rock, every tree.
And that bleak building over there?
That building. I was a boy there. Yes, I went to school in that horrible place.
Do you recollect that path?
I could walk it blindfold.
Strange. You should have forgotten it so many years ago. Come, let us go closer. Look, through the window, into that cold, barren room. What do you see, Ebenezer Scrooge?
I see a boy.
A solitary child, neglected by his family. Alone.
Yes. Yes, I see. I know that boy. Oh, I was so lonely. Poor boy.
Your lip is trembling, Scrooge. And what is that on your cheek?
It's nothing. Nothing at all. I wish I... it's too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. The waifs came to my door, singing Christmas carols last night. There was a boy like that among them. A poor, pale, thin little boy in a ragged coat. I should like to have given him something, that's all.
Is that all? Come, Ebenezer Scrooge, let us see another Christmas.
Oh, bring us in good ale, bring us in good ale. For our blessed Lady's sake, bring us in good ale. Oh, bring us in good ale, bring us in good ale. For our blessed Lady's sake, bring us in good ale.
Do you know this place, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Know it. This is the counting house where I was apprenticed. It's my old master. Bless his heart, old Fezziwig. My master alive again. I'm hosting one of his Christmas parties.
Pick your partners!
Listen to them.
A corkscrew, thread the needle, and back to your places.
And there's Dick Wilkins. Oh, poor Dick. Dear. Yes, and look, there's Mrs. Fezziwig herself, looking younger than any of them. And the tables are all loaded with roasts and cider, mince pie and beer. Oh, what a jolly time we used to have.
That carefree young man with the light heart and the gay smile, do you recognize him?
Yes, merciful heaven. How happy I was then.
A small matter for old Fezziwig to make those silly folks so full of joy.
Small matter? Small indeed.
Isn't it? He has spent only a few pounds of your mortal money. Is that so much that he deserves praise?
It's not that. It's not that, Spirit. Old Fezziwig had the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or heavy. His power was in words and looks, and things so tiny it's impossible to count them up. Oh, the happiness he gave is quite as great as if it cost.
What is the matter?
Oh. Nothing at all, Spirit.
Something, I think.
No.
Speak.
Only, it's just I would like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk, Bob Cratchit. That's all.
O'er the hills and o'er the main, to Flanders, Portugal and Spain, the King commands and we'll obey. Over the hills and far away.
My time grows short, and we have yet another journey to make.
Where now?
Come. This is our last visit to the past, Ebenezer. Here, in this little room, with a fair young girl by your side. Do you recognize yourself, Ebenezer?
No, spare me this.
You're older now, a man in the prime of life. Your face has begun to wear the signs of care and avarice. Your eyes are greedy, the eager, restless eyes of a miser.
No, no, please.
She knows it too. That girl by your side, there are tears in her eyes.
It matters little to you. Very little, I know that.
Belle, have I changed toward you?
When we were engaged, we were both poor.
Was it better then? Better to be poor?
Better at least to be happy. You're changed. You were another man then.
I was a boy. You blame me because I've grown wiser? Have I ever tried to break our engagement?
In words, no, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any value in your sight. So I release you from your promise.
Belle?
Oh, at first it may cause you pain to lose me. A very brief pain, but soon it will be dim like a half-remembered dream, an unprofitable dream. And you will be glad to be awake from such a dream. May you be happy in the life you have chosen, Ebenezer, for the love of whom you once loved.
That's enough. Show me no more. Take me home.
These were the shadows of things that have been. That they are what they are. Do not blame me.
No, no more. No more.
One shadow more. Come.
Wenceslas went out on the feast of Stephen, and the snow lay round about, thick and crisp and even.
Do you see this man, Ebenezer Scrooge? This man might have been you, and the woman beside him your wife. And that girl might have been your daughter. Ebenezer Scrooge, she might have called you father. She might have been a springtime in the haggard winter of your life.
Spirit, let me go. Show me no more.
Listen now while they speak, Ebenezer.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours today.
Who was it?
Guess.
How can I? Oh, I know. Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window. It wasn't shuttered. There was a candle inside, so I couldn't help seeing him. His partner Marley lies at the point of death, I hear. And there Scrooge sat, all alone. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Spirit, I can't bear any more. Leave me. Haunt me no more. Take me back. Take me.
King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, thick and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when the poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel.
On the stroke of 1, Scrooge awakened suddenly and sat bolt upright in his own bed. He remembered the words of Marley's ghost and wondered from which direction the second spectre would appear. At that moment, nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much. Now, being prepared for almost anything, he was not by any means prepared for nothing, and consequently, when no ship appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. A quarter of an hour went by, yet nothing came. Then, as he sat in his bed, he became gradually aware of a great blaze of ruddy light, which seemed to shine upon him from the adjoining room. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. It was his own sitting room, no doubt about that. But it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked a perfect grove. from every part of which bright gleaming berries glistened, and such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as had never been known in Scrooge's time, or for many and many a winter season gone. Heaped upon the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, game, poultry, great joints of meat, sucking pigs, long wreaths of sausages, mint pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters, red-hot chestnuts, and seething bowls of punch that made the chamber dim with a delicious steam. In easy state upon this couch there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch in shape not unlike Plenty's horn, and held it up, high up, to shed its light on Scrooge as he came peeping round the door.
Come in. Come in, Ebenezer Scrooge, and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You have never seen the like of me before.
You're different from the other spirits. You're tall, almost a giant. And a great torch you carry.
Its light pours into the homes of rich and poor alike.
Spirit, take me where you will. Last night I went against my will and learned a lesson which is working now. If you have anything to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe, Ebenezer Scrooge. Touch my robe.
Where have you brought me, Spirit?
A humble dwelling in a humble street.
It's humble enough.
Yet there is happiness here.
Who are these people? Who's that woman? The children?
These are the family of your clerk, Bob Cratchit. His wife, dressed in twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbons, laying the table for their Christmas dinner. And there, assisting her, is her daughter, Belinda. And the young man with the fork in the stuffing, that's Master Peter Cratchit. And the two little Cratchits. Listen, Scrooge.
Here's Martha, Mother. Martha.
Why, bless your heart alive, Martha. My dear, Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Mother.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
How late you are, my dear.
Oh, we dealt of work, a great deal of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear it away this morning.
Well, never mind. So long as you're here now. Sit you down before the fire and have a warm. Lord bless you.
Where's Father?
He's been to church with Tiny Tim. They'll be along directly.
How is Tiny Tim, Mother? Any better at all?
Sometimes I think he is. And sometimes I think, oh, dear God, if anything should happen to Tiny Tim.
Mother, you mustn't even think of such a thing.
Here they are.
There's Tiny Tim.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Martha, welcome, my dear.
Merry Christmas, Father. And Tim.
Merry Christmas, Martha.
Oh, Tim, you darling. Oh, Father, I'm so glad to be home.
We're so glad to have you, Martha.
And how did little Tim behave in church, Bob?
Oh, as good as gold, and better.
I like church, Mother. Oh, they sang the nicest songs. I hope the people saw me there.
Saw you there? And why, Tim?
Well, don't you see? Because I'm lame, and if they saw my crutch, it might be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas who it was that made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Oh, bless you, my son.
Are we ready to eat, Mother? Come on, let's eat.
Let's eat.
Yes, Yes, children, we're all ready. Come, take your places now. And Bob, wait your turn, there's plenty. Stuffing and dressing and plum pudding for all of you. Martha, you take care of Tiny Tim.
Yes, Mother.
You see that he eats plenty. He must get tall and well. Now, sit down, everyone.
Now, my dears, shall we say grace?
Dear, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved.
Oh, no. No, kind spirit. Say he'll be spared. Say he'll live.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, Ebenezer, the child will die.
Amen.
Amen.
And now, my dears, with such a dinner, a toast, a Merry Christmas to all, and God bless us all.
Amen.
God bless us, everyone.
Now, Mr. Scrooge,
Oh.
I give you a toast to Mr. Scrooge, the founder of this feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed, who pays you all of 15 shillings a week. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I hope he had good appetite for it.
Oh, my dear, children, Christmas Day.
Well, it should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Bob. Nobody knows it better than you, poor fellow.
My dear, Christmas Day.
I'll drink his health for your sake, and the day's, not for his. Long life to him, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
And I say God bless him too, Mother, and everyone.
Yes, yes.
Come, ye faithful, joyful and triumphant, come ye, oh come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of ages. Oh come, let us adore him. Oh come, let us adore him. Oh come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
There was nothing of high mark in all this. There was not a handsome family, these Cratchits. They were not well dressed. The shoes were far from being waterproof. The clothes were scanty and had known very likely the inside of a pawnbroker's. But they were happy, grateful, pleased with one another, and contented with the time. When at last they faded, Scrooge had his eye upon them, and especially on Tiny Tim, until the last. Many calls Scrooge made that night with the ghost of Christmas present. Down among the miners they went, who labour in the bowels of the earth, and out to sea among the sailors at their watch. Dark, ghostly figures in their several stations. Much they saw, and far they went, and many places they visited, but always with a happy end. The spirit stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful on foreign lands, and they were close at home by poverty, and it was rich. In almshouse, hospital, and jail, were vain man in his little breath of thought he had not made fast the door, and bar the spirit out. The spirit left his blessing. It was a long night, if it was only a night, and it was strange, too, that while Scrooge remained unaltered in his outward form, the ghost grew older, clearly older.
My life upon this globe is very brief, Ebenezer.
It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Ah. The hour has come.
No, not yet, not yet. There are still more things I wish to learn.
Lee, you will learn from still another spirit. Still another spirit, Ebony.
Scrooge looked about him for the ghost. It had vanished. And he found himself once more in his bed in his dressing gown and his nightcap on his head. He heard the clock strike, and then he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley, and lifting up his eyes, beheld the third spirit. A solemn phantom, shrouded in black, draped and hooded, coming towards him slowly and silently, like a mist along the ground.
I know you. You are the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You'll show me the shadows, things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Answer me, spirit, ghost of the future. I fear you more than any specter I've seen. Yet I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, lead on, lead on. The night is waning fast. Time is precious. Spirit, why have you brought me here again? Here to Bob Cratchit's home. But it's not the same. Why is it so quiet? So very quiet here?
Mother, please.
My son. My little son, Tiny Tim, I loved him so.
Oh, Mother dear, you mustn't. It's almost time for Father to be home. Don't let him see you crying.
Yes. Yes, Martha.
He's late tonight.
He walks slower than he used to. And yet I've known him to walk very fast indeed with Tiny Tim on his shoulder.
So have I, Mother.
But he was light to carry, and his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble. Bob!
Read me, my dear.
You're late, Bob.
Yes, I'm sorry, my dear. I went to the churchyard today. I wish you could have gone with me. It would have done your heart good to see how sweet and green a place it is. She'll see it often. I promised him. Yes, I promised Tiny Tim we'd walk there on Sunday.
Father, dear.
It's God's will, Bob.
I'm trying to understand it, my dear. Son, my little son, Tiny Tim. I loved him so much.
Merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember.
Oh, that's cruel. Cruel, spirit. Can't you give me one ray of hope that I may change all that? That Tiny Tim may live. Where have you taken me now? Here. On a common street, spirit. What is there for me to learn here? Who are those men?
I don't know much about it either way. I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral. For upon my life, I don't know anyone to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going, if a lunch is provided.
Come to think of it, I'll bet I was his best friend.
What?
We used to nod to each other when we met in the street.
Help me. is this man that died? Is there no one to mourn this poor creature? No one to follow him to the grave? Perhaps they'll give him a green grave at least, like poor Tiny Tim. Perhaps... Spirit, where are we now? Well, heaven, a churchyard, overrun by grass. With too much burying. Desolate, lonely, crumbling gravestones. Spirit, before I draw near to that gravestone, answer me one question. Are these shadows the things that will be, or are these shadows the things that may be only? Will you not speak to me, Spirit? What is that grave to which you point? Now I see it. Writing on the stone. The name on the gravestone is Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge! No, Spirit, no. Hear me! I'm not the man I was. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Tell me that I can change these dreadful shadows you've shown me by an altered life. I'll honor Christmas in my heart. I'll try to keep it all the year. I'll live in the past, the present, and the future. I'll not shut out the lessons that they teach. Tell me, Spirit. Come on, tell me. Tell me I may sponge away the writing on that stone. Spirit, I beg you, Spirit, I beg you. I promise on my knees, I promise. What's this? It's my own drape. Home. In my own bed. In my own room. And the sun is shining. It's clear. Oh, it's bright. No fog. Oh, what a beautiful day. Oh, glorious. Glorious. Hey, boy. Oh, boy.
Yes, sir?
What's today?
What's that, sir?
What day is it, my fine fellow?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. But I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. All in one night, heaven be praised.
How's that, sir?
Listen, my lad. You know the poulterer in the next street at the corner?
I should say I do.
An intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Tell me, do you know if they sold the prize turkey that was hanging in the window?
One as big as me?
What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now, sir.
That's wonderful. Go down, will you? Tell them to send it to Bob Cratchit and his family on Broad Street. Mind you, they're not to know who paid for it. Go along, hurry, my lad. Here, wait a minute. Here's £50 for your trouble.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And a Merry Christmas, sir.
A Merry Christmas to you, my boy. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather, as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. Merry Christmas! A Merry Christmas to everybody! A Happy New Year to all the world!
Glory to the newborn King, peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled.
Yes, sir. How do you do?
I beg your pardon?
You, sir, aren't you the gentleman who came to my office in regard to that charity?
Why, yes, sir.
A Merry Christmas to you.
Yes, sir?
Allow me to ask your pardon, sir. Will you have the goodness to accept? Prefer to whisper this?
What? But Lord bless me, my dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
Please, no, not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
Well, my dear sir, I don't know what to say. It's such munificent.
Now, don't you say anything, please. Come and see me. Will you come and see me?
I will indeed.
Thank you. I am much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. Merry Christmas.
The next morning, Scrooge was early at his office. He went early for a reason. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late, that was the thing he'd set his heart upon. And he did it. Oh, yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. A quarter past. No Bob. Scrooge sat with his door wide open, that he might see him come in. At last he came. His hat was off before he opened the door, his comforter too. He was on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock.
15 and 21, 6 and carry the 1, 24, carry the 2, 31 and 8, and 9.
Hello, you Cratchit.
Yes, sir.
Step this way, Cratchit, if you please. Cratchit, what do you mean by coming here this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I'm behind my time.
You are? Yes, I think you are.
Oh, it's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'll tell you what, my friend. I'll not stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, Bob Cratchit, I am about to raise your salary.
Mr. Scrooge? Are you quite yourself, sir?
No, thank heaven, I'm not quite myself. Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas, my good fellow. A merrier Christmas than I've given you in many a year. I shall raise your salary, and we'll see what we can do for Tiny Tim and the rest of your family. We'll discuss it this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop, Bob. Bob, make up the fire, make it up, and buy another coal scuttle before you dot one more I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. To Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was his second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim once observed, God bless us. God bless us, everyone.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. May earth receive her King. Let every heart repent in room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
Thank Thank you all for joining us for A Christmas Carol. A big thanks to our friend, Your Friendly Neighborhood Shakespeare. Visit him at his website, shakespeareapproves.com, or on Facebook at Shakespeare Approves, Your Friendly Neighborhood Shakespeare. A super special thanks. Come back on camera, Foxy Bard and Twig, drunk and disorderly, for essentially improvising music for us tonight. Thank you so much. And a thanks also to all of the actors who volunteered to read with us this evening. Again, feel free to come on camera, say hello to the lovely people out there. If you enjoyed this reading out there in Facebook land, all of our past readings are available on our Facebook page and a little better organized on our website, zenithplayers.com. If you want more information on us, including how to be involved in a reading like this one, head to our Facebook page, Zenith Players, send us a message or send an email to casting@zenithplayers.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible.
And please donate to the Liberty Housing Development Corporation. Liberty Housing Development Corporation provide affordable and ADA-compliant accessible housing for the elderly and infirm in the Philadelphia region. Please donate. The link is in the show notes. It is in comments all over the place on Shakespeare Approves, on Zenith Players, everywhere. Please go donate generously if you can. Quite a lot of people are hurting this holiday season. We want to bring as much joy as we can to as many people as we can. Thank you. Thank you for giving.
All right. Well, this has been our Zenith Players last reading for 2020. I think this is Social Distancing Players last reading for 2020. Thank you for joining us for these past 39 weeks. Thank you to all the new folks that read with us tonight for the first time, and those of you who came back for the, 50th time. We will all be back January 2nd with Henry VI, Part 2. Thank you.